Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a makeup update. So things that I recently hauled, picked up, things that I have done a first impressions on or even reviewed, and I'm going to give you guys my updated thoughts. Have my thoughts changed? Do I like something more? Do I not use it at all? Things like that. But I do want to go ahead and let you guys know I recently did my favorites video. So if I talked about something in there, it's not likely that I'm going to talk about it in here. There are a couple things that I am going to reiterate some little facts on, but overall, like if you're wondering about Charlotte Tilbury, it was in my favorites video. So anywho, let's go ahead and jump straight in with some palettes. I'm going to start off with the Tarteist Pro Remix palette, mainly just because that is what is on my eyes right now. I told you guys that I was going to dabble a little bit more into like this neutral area right here, and I did. I kind of went in with this shade right here because it looked a little bit more green, and I love this shade. I've played with it a few times. I think I love it even more than what I did initially. Everything that I have used so far has been really great. I think this is one of the better palettes from Tarte, and I think they did a really good job with it. Like even some of the shades like this one that looks silver in the pan really is like this beautiful green shade. So I'm still highly recommending this one. Again, one of my favorite Tarte ones, other than obviously my Tarte Aspen Ovard, which is just neutrals, but I think they did a really great job with the colorful aspect on this one. The next one is from ColourPop, and this is a collaboration with Carucci. I do still like this palette, but I have not gravitated towards it. I might have used it once more since then. There's another palette that I have decided that I like more than this to get those type of shades. And let me go ahead and bring that one out real quick. The Warrior 2 palette by Juvia's Place. This palette right here, I'm gonna let you see these two side by side. So obviously these aren't like dupes of each other or anything like that, but the shades that I liked in here, like the red shade right here, didn't work as well in the ColourPop palette, and I found it to work better in this one, and then this perfect gray. And then I found that the other shades that were in this palette that aren't in here, because this is obviously all matte, they're in like the double entendre or whatever from ColourPop, and I have a few other ones. So for me, like, I still like this. If you don't have a lot from ColourPop, I still like this palette, but that red shade is problematic. I really like this palette. Like, I've used this several times. I did a very easy, I think I called it like the world's simplest eye look, and I used just this shade right here and created an eye, and that is like my go-to type of thing. And just this shade, I don't have another dupe for in my collection. I was looking around and everything was just like a little bit off. Like I said in that video, you can pretty much use whatever color you want to, but I adore this one. I just really like the tones in here. Everything works really nicely. The next two palettes you guys have actually not seen me use, but I am doing a video, instead of doing like an actual review for each palette that I have picked up recently, I am doing a look with all of them in one video so you guys can see, and I'm going to give you kind of a review right now. The first one is from Seurat. It's the Glitter Storm. And oh my gosh, like the packaging on this, I love stars. I have them tattooed on my face. I have them all over my body, but like I just live for this packaging. I think it's so pretty. And then the colors inside, stunning. Obviously, you don't need this palette if you have let's say like the new NARS Ignited palette, or if you have the Huda Beauty New Nudes or anything like that, but I really like this. I've used it twice, and again, this is in that video where I'm doing several different palettes and looks with them, and it performed beautifully. Like, I love this. This is like one of my top palettes that have come out recently that I have been loving. And of course, you guys have seen me really reaching for the cool tones and like these purples. So not so much on the maroon side, but like these purple tones, I'm absolutely loving. And I used, I think, all three of these in my tutorial, and they are so pretty on the eyes, you guys. You have no idea. The mattes blended out, stunning. Very easy palette to use, and it's pretty to look at. Like, you can't go wrong. The next one is from Dose of Colors, again in the video, so keep an eye out if you're wondering about looks with these palettes. Keep an eye out for that video. It should be coming up very soon. This is the Pretty Cool palette. I picked this one up at IMATS, and this is what she looks like. I had such an easy time using this palette, and I have used it once or twice since then. Doing the whole easy eye look, I use this shade right here, or this one if I want it to be a little bit more vampy. I will say the only thing is that I could take out one of these two shades and pop in a lighter one. It doesn't even have to be like a white or a bone color, but just one shade lighter than this one, because I feel like you have just a little bit more of a range there. But overall, quality wise, they are a little bit powdery, but they blend on the eyes very nicely. And you'll have to see, I actually did a wing. I actually did a wing, you guys. Can you believe that? But I had no issues with this palette. If you like the other ones in the collection, like the mauves, and I don't remember the other names, but if you like those palettes, I think you will like this one. And I found that I didn't get a muddy mess on my eyes. Now, this is one that was in my favorites, and I just forgot to talk about this specific thing, so I'm going to talk about it now. And it's the Huda Beauty Nude. I always want to add an S. Like, there's no S there, but I want to call it the Nudes. I don't know why. But I wanted to talk about the glitter shades in here. I wanted to tell you guys that I did get a little bit of fallout throughout the day with those, but overall, I didn't really have a problem with them. I think that they are great glitter shades, especially when you use them with the Anastasia glitter adhesive. This palette is just amazing. It's going to be in my yearly favorites for, like, what is forewarning? It's not a forewarning, it's a spoiler alert. That is what I'm looking for. But if you're wondering if I'm still loving this and you haven't seen my favorites, yep, still loving this palette. And while I have both of these palettes right here in front of me, let me go ahead and show you side by side in case you were wondering. One more palette, you guys. I swear this is the last one that I have to talk about, and it's the Nabla Poison Garden palette. I know this has been very hit or miss with people, but I have liked it. I really have liked it. And then I know some people have had issues with this blue. I personally haven't so far, but I haven't packed it all over the lid or anything like that. In my review, the very first look I did with it, I packed that on the outer corner and it stayed there. I went over it with this shade here to get everything blended, and I felt like it looked really nice, but to each their own. I think it's just going to be a matter of preference. I really like this, and for it being my first Nabla palette, I'm really liking it, and I like the color selection in here. But I've used several different shades in here and I just haven't had any issues. I did an all over smoky eye with this shade right here. What is it called? Archetype. And it was stunning, you guys. And I put a little bit of Berry Bite right around the edges, and you guys should have seen those. Just those two colors together are so good. But this has been very hit or miss. I guess it depends on your style and brushes. I will say that I definitely like natural hair brushes with this palette more so than I do synthetic when I'm talking about like the mattes and stuff. Using a synthetic with the shimmer shades is not a problem, but for me, my experience has been that I get a better application with a natural hair brush. Speaking of brushes, let's go into my thoughts on my recent purchase of Royal and Langnickel and Smith Cosmetics. So let me separate these for just a second. I'm going to start off with my Royal and Langnickel. This was in my favorites. This is the BOM 36. Like my new favorite bronzer brush in life. If you want to hear me talk about this more, go to my favorites video, but this is amazing. Absolutely obsessed with it. This one right here is the large crease BOM 44. This is really, really nice. I've used it several times, but I only like it when I don't want something packed on. So I want a nice blend into the crease area or transition area. I've really liked this, but like say I needed more color impact, I would want something stiffer like this guy right here. And this is the BOM 46. So this is like a 221, but just a little bit stiffer, and this goes into the crease and adds a little bit more product than what the last one does. But so far I have been in absolute love, oops, that's a Smith, with all of the brushes that I have gotten from Royal and Langnickel. The only one I haven't used is this packing brush right here. This is the BOM 42. So I don't have an update on this one because I haven't used it yet, but I've used all of these and I love them. This brush, oh my gosh, for highlight is so nice. You just buff it into your skin. And it's the Domed Shader BOM 41. I'm telling you, just go to town. You're not going to want to stop highlighting your face because they are so flippin' soft. And these are affordable, nice, beautiful brushes. And they also have a line of synthetic. Do I have that one here? Yes, there. So this one is a like rose gold and these are gold. The gold ones are natural hair and this is a pro synthetic. I like this brush, but I definitely like the natural hair better. This one works really good for getting into the crease area right here. But if I was going to pick between these two, like what is this called? The BOM 46 natural hair and the BOM 15, I'm gonna go with the natural hair. All right, let's get into the Smith Cosmetics brushes. So I'm sure you guys can see I have more now than what I did previously because I placed an order when they had their 20% off, and then I was so mad. I got the, what is it, 232, and I had the 230 in my cart as well. I'm telling you, as I was checking out, the 230 got taken out of my cart. So I went and found it on some random person's site that was like brand new in like the little whatever, and I paid $40 or $42 for it, and it's going to be here, I believe, tomorrow. So I haven't tried that one yet, but based off of this one, this is the 232. I love this brush. Love it. The only thing I'm going to say about the eye brushes that are white is that they're not really soft. So they're not as soft as the Wayne Goss eye set. They're kind of like the MAC 217 after you've had it for a little bit. So I was a little bit shocked to see that because I know that these are so hyped up, but there's also the fact that sometimes you need a little bit more of a brush that has some like push to it that can actually move a product around, because if your brush is too soft, it's not going to move some types of shadow formulas around. So at first I was kind of like, I'm not sure, but then this one right here, this is the one I wasn't sure about. It's a 235, and it's not, you can see after I washed it, it had a nice like little V to it. After I've washed it and used it, the V is still there, but not as prominent, and I like it more now than what I did when I first got it, because now I feel like it acts more like the 217 with just a little bit more of a tip. And this one, what number are you? This is the 235. And then the one that I'm absolutely in love with is the one I use this today, 232. This for transition area, perfection. And then I also got the 247, which is a little bit smaller than all three of those. And I love this for the crease, like love this for the creases. And so far, so good with the brushes, but you have to like a brush like the 217 from MAC, the old natural hair version. That's just a tad bit scratchy. They are a tad bit scratchy. So that threw me off a little bit. Now, this brush right here, I have not used as much. I like it better for blush, but I don't think I'm going to get a lot of use out of it, to be completely honest. I have washed this brush and it's held its shape pretty well. It's not as soft as I would like it to be, but it doesn't bother me either. It is the 154. I thought that I would end up using this for blush, but then I got this one and I love this one. This is the 118. I use this for blush today and it's perfect. Not too stiff, not too loose, and it applies my product really well and it picks it up really nicely. Like sometimes brushes can be too like prickly and they'll pick up too much, or they can be too soft and not pick up enough, and this is like right in between. And I don't find this to be too like, it's not super soft, but it's not itchy scratchy either. So there's those two. And then these guys, this is awesome. I like to use this more so off camera though, because I feel like I need to be right up against my mirror in order to use it. I feel like it's easier for me to use it that way because it's so large. But overall, as a brush, I really like it. And this one is a little bit softer. This is the Smith 220. And I like to use this to smoke out my lower lash line. It's been beautiful. And lastly, the 256. I have really only used this for my brow arch. I haven't really felt like wanting to use this on the lid. I'm not sure why. It is a little fluffier. You could use this into the crease if you wanted a little bit more definition, like especially if you wanted like that V, like that sharp V here, because I've washed this one and it's held its shape a little bit better, or a lot better than the white one. But for me, I've just really been liking it for the brow arch because it has that little tip right here, been able to get right in. So there's some hits, and then there's some that aren't bad brushes, but I'm not going to use very often. I have a feeling based on the 232 that I'm going to be obsessed with the 230. It's always out of stock. It is always out of stock, but I will keep you guys informed as well with those as I continue to use them. I'm going to be using them in tutorials. If I change my mind at any point, I will let you know. And I'm not sure if I said, but the eye brushes on the Royal and Langnickel side are very soft. You guys are going to shoot me. This is like an update, but not really an update, but an update. Because that makes sense, you know. Okay, so I feel like I don't know what happens when I make these videos. I talk about wanting Melt to come out with a palette instead of stacks, and then all of a sudden there's a palette, and you know, several other things like, you know, Anastasia making that permanent, the highlighter, and then it's made permanent. And then I'm talking about this brush from Seurat that's $230, and I'm not willing to spend that amount of money. But then I was like, if it was $130 or below, I would buy it. Lo and behold, what was it, 2 days after I made that video, Seurat went on sale at Sephora. You guys were blowing me up. And the very first person, the very first one that I saw, you're the one that I commented, I love you and I hate you at the same time, because I was like, dang it, I'm about to spend some money, but I want this brush. But here's the thing. Okay, let me show it to you. Like, look at the box. Like, come on now. And this is the Seurat, I think it's just the face brush. I haven't used it. And I've had it for a hot minute, and I just realized the bottom of this brush is like duochrome. I don't know if you can see that on camera or not, but this end right here is like turning green and purple. Like, this hasn't even touched my face. I have done this and gone and been like, oh my God, this is literally the softest brush I've ever felt in my entire life. In my entire life. Not kidding. I went and I wanted to tell Puffin about this story about how, you know, oh, I got this, you know, this brush was $130, and like these things keep happening. Sorry, I think I spit on myself. That's gross. Don't get on my brush. And I pull it out and he's like, you're crazy. And then I take the brush and I go all over his face with it. He goes, now you've got oil all over your brush. I was like, you're just conditioning it. But I have not used it, but I have it. So there is an update with that I finally got the brush that I have been wanting for so long but refused to buy because of the price. And now it lives in this box. It's like I'm so scared to mess it up, because in my head, it's like I guess that Sephora was going to stop carrying Seurat, and that's the only reason why the brush was on sale. Somebody convinced me to use this brush. Somebody do it. Please do it. Because right now, I'm telling you, it's just been sitting in that box, and I will open it up and look at it, and I will close it back up. Who does that? The new lipsticks from Lisa Eldridge. I believe they're called the Ultimate True Velvet. I did a video, lip swatches, everything on these. There's Velvet Jazz, which is what I wore in my video. There is Velvet, I believe this is Ribbon right here. And then there's also Velvet Morning. I still haven't picked out a favorite, but I have used these. And for whatever reason, like, they don't stain my lips. That is rare for a matte red lipstick with nothing underneath to not stain my lips. I thought it was a fluke, but then somebody else commented down below that it didn't stain their lips, and I was like, it's not a fluke, it's for real. And then I've used it the other color several times, not several, like 2 or 3 times. And my lips haven't been stained. They don't dry out my lips. And I think this is my favorite matte formula I've ever used. I'm not kidding. Above Tom Ford, above the Matte Trance from Pat McGrath, above MAC, obviously. I'm trying to think of other mattes that I like. The most comfortable, airy, pigmented, long-lasting, doesn't bleed, wears well whenever you're eating. I ate ramen noodles. Ramen noodles. And I had a little bit of wear in the center, but still, like, I could just easily slightly touch that up and I would have, like, I cannot tell you how much I love these lipsticks. They feel so good. If you have dry lips and you're looking for a matte lipstick, well, I think they're sold out right now, but they are, I know that they're restocking. If she comes out with nudes, I will buy them just like that. Best matte lipstick I have ever used. I feel like they're just lighter weight than the mattes from Pat McGrath, and I think they're a little less dry than the ones from Tom Ford, and those are like my 2 favorites, but these, she outdid herself. These are phenomenal. I spoke a little bit about the glitter adhesive from Anastasia Beverly Hills when I was talking about the new nudes palette from Huda Beauty, but I want to tell you guys that I've been using this a lot, and I have been using this like in replacement of MAC Fix Plus because it holds the shadow on so much better. I feel like it makes it even more pigmented. I take it, it has like a nail polish dropper, and I take a little bit, take a little bit of that. I put it on a Petri dish, and then I put a tiny bit on my brush, and I go straight into the shadow pan. And I love it that way. That's how I have the green on the lid, not like spread out everywhere, but just on the lid. I feel like it makes it more intense and more smooth. Like sometimes with Fix Plus, it's almost like it's uneven, but something about this glitter adhesive is amazing. Like I love this so much, and it's going to be my new go-to anytime I want to get a shadow wet pretty much. Yeah, it's amazing. And it holds glitter on really, really well. The best bet if you want to really keep your, like, no matter what, you're going to have a little bit of fallout, but if you want to keep your glitter on your eyes the best way possible, I put a little bit of this right on the lid first, then mix your contraption together on your Petri dish, and then go in on the eye as well. And it just it's like locked onto your eye. Perfection. I have been using this little gem quite often. I still have not dug into the other shade, but this is in Light by Danessa Myricks, and it's in Light Aura of Radiance. This is so pretty. It's technically a highlight, like a loose highlight, but I really haven't been using it as a highlighter. I've been dusting it on areas of my face that I just want to have more of a sheen. Like I want to add some glow, but I don't want texture, and I don't want it to be too thick. It's kind of like Silver Dusk from MAC, but more intense. Like I love, and look, it just came right off. But if you wanted it to stick and adhere, especially for your cheekbone area, get it wet first, either this or your cheekbone, and it works really nicely. But I love this, just dusted in random little spots on my face. It's beautiful, beautiful product. The next updates I have are for some setting sprays. I don't think I've ever even spoken about this, and I don't know why, because clearly I'm almost halfway through it. I was going through my drawer, I want to say about a month ago, and I was trying to find something. I ran out of my Fix Plus, and I was trying to find something that was like Fix Plus, and I found this. It came in one of my Beauty BoxyCharm boxes a while ago, and it is the Project Beauty Spray Set Go Makeup Setting Spray. And I looked on the back of it. I was looking to see if it had any alcohol because my face was dry, and it didn't. So I was like, I'm gonna try this. And this has been really, really great. Now I wanna tell you, like if you go to the website on BoxyCharm, it claims like, I think it's $32, but then buying from the website, it says that it is $19. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if there's some kind of whatever, but $19, 2 fluid ounces, and no alcohol. This really does hydrate the skin. It's really nice. So I have been enjoying this when I don't need as much as like the Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist, because that one's far more hydrating than what that is. Now on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have this one right here. This is the Pretty Filter Mattifying Oil Control Setting Mist. And as you can see, like I've only used down to here, and then you've got the stuff, you gotta mix it up just like the MAC one. So I haven't used this as often because it is winter, well, it feels like winter, and my skin is a little bit more dry, but I had tested it out because I wanted to see if it would work or not. And this one to me is so much better than the MAC one. I don't get the little white dots all over my face. It does make you matte, but it doesn't look dry. And the spritzer is really, really nice. And I like the smell of it. I don't know what that smell is. It's not like, you know, like high-end floral fragrance. It's just something that's really refreshing. So if I was going to suggest a mattifying setting mist, I think this one is good thus far. And again, no white dots. I can't even get into it with that MAC one. I've tried so many different things. And then lastly, I have some skincare products that I want to go over from Bliss. And then I also want to let you guys know, I know you guys have been asking for my skincare routine. It is coming up, you guys. I promise I'm going to try and get it done this month of December. It's just, there's just been so much going on. So I had tried, and Bliss did send these to me, as well as what was sent, the Touch and Soul, I think I forgot to tell you that too. It's the Touch and Soul Pretty Filter Mattifying Oil Setting Mist. So these were sent. I tried these, and I wish I had the other one because I like the other one more. And they're the holographic foil sheet mask. Not only are these fun, there's a picture on Instagram I'll insert. You can see like it makes little stars. It's so cute. The other one I feel like was more hydrating. This one is the detoxifier, purifies with charcoal powder. I didn't feel like my skin was dry or anything like that afterwards, but I felt like I was more hydrated with the other one. But still, I liked this. I think I had an acne spot when I was trying it. And then the holographic, I can't speak. The holographic foil eye masks, depuffs and brightens. I really liked these. And these are affordable. They are at Target, and I do really like these masks. I would suggest them. And then this is pretty cool. So again, more affordable, but this is That's Incredi Peel Spa Strength Glycolic Resurfacing Pads to Smooth and Brighten. I have used these several different times just to test them out. I'm usually using the ones from Dr. Dennis Gross, so I knew what to expect and like how to compare. These aren't as good as the Dr. Dennis Gross, and those do come in 3 different strengths. Well, I believe this one only comes in the 1, but you get individual pads in here, and it's just 1 step, whereas the Dennis Gross ones are 2-step. It comes like this, and it is such a great alternative to the Dr. Dennis Gross ones. Those are the only peel pads I've ever used. Again, at Target. So if you're looking for something to resurface the skin, but at an affordable price, these are nice. Anywho, that is it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If there was anything that I left out, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know down below, and I will try and get back to you as soon as possible. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.